This is things you might not have heard. I am Jay Clifton Payne, and today for you, 8 stories in the queue from yesterday. Not that far past. You vetted them as conversational stories that are good, covering politics, current events, pop culture news, and information as well. Now, warning right now, we have great stories on the way, including Elon Musk, Rudy Giuliani, and Comic Sans. We are not talking Donald Trump directly. We're not talking about the comments about his comments. So that's not here today. We're just not going there. But we do have plenty of other things that are Trump related and election related going forward. 5 other stories, including those 3 as well. And we'll explain the whole vetting process and how we got to where we are with the stories that we have for you this morning in just a bit. Remind you that our website is theconversationproject.com for more details on how we get things done here for the Conversation Project, and our email address for all your comments, complaints, and concerns. The Conversation Inbox. Anytime you're up to it, the Conversation Inbox at gmail.com. Not said it so far. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. We'll give you some context on how some of the stories got to be where they're placed. No particular order, no particular rhyme or reason, except other than the narrative seems to flow well for these stories in these places. But we're going to kick things off with the election coverage, as we are, against, if math in my head is correct, 13 days away from the general election happening on November the 5th. And the headline for story number 1 is Early In-Person Voting and Mail-in Voting in each state reveals mounting voter enthusiasm. From the robot editor, early voting, both in person and via mail in ballots, is showing significant voter engagement across the United States. Many states are seeing an uptick in voter turnout as individuals exercise their right to vote ahead of Election Day, sign of mounting enthusiasm. Key factors driving the early participation include accessibility to mail in voting, convenience early voting locations, and heightened interest in the upcoming elections. This trend suggests that voters are more eager to have their voices heard and participate in the democratic process. Early voting is like the best inventions we had in the last century to get us into moving forward as the democracy here, and just as people in general. The fact that we have technology and we have ways to just keep up with things, get the votes in early, and make them count better is a great thing. Now, one of the drawbacks of these things is people tend to come complain about cheating, which pretty much is not happening. But we shall see. In most states right now that have early voting or have a significant early voting, being 13 weeks out, 13 days out, 14 days, 2 weeks out, essentially everyone is in the queue of voting early. They have not started as of yesterday. They're pretty much starting today, giving you 2 weeks or so to get your votes in early. I suggest voting early. If you have an early voting location, go take care of that there on your way to wherever. Also, if you have mail-in ballot access for anyone, time is running out. These things need to be basically postmarked about a day or so before the actual day of the election so they can get there and be legally counted as being done on time. So make sure you know what the rules are and how to get things done. Take care of it. This is a boon for both the Republicans and the Democrats, for both sides here. So don't let anyone tell you that early voting and mail in voting is a bad thing. It is a very, very good thing. Our second story this morning. DoD FBI investigating suspected major intelligence leak. The FBI and the Department of Defense are currently investigating a intelligence leak regarding U.S. insights into Israel's military plans for an attack on Iran. The leak of classified documents reportedly included details on the Israeli strike preparations, not the actual strike itself, and officials are treating this as a breach of security, a very serious incident. The leak raised concerns about how such sensitive information could be compromised, and FBI is collaborating with the Pentagon and intelligence agency to see how this thing could have happened. Essentially, the data breach is dealing with information from, as you said, from Israel and their attacks, and it was a 4 eyes only, basically 5 eyes, as they call it, the top major countries we have details with. And what it turned out to look like is essentially a printout from a briefing. So someone prepared a briefing, someone made a printout of it, and then they leaked it online. So hopefully they'll be able to track this printout down pretty quickly and find out what the deal is. Having this information out there is a bad thing. Definitely a bad thing dealing with this thing here, the Israel stuff, and just the trust that we have, or sometimes distrust we have, with allies and adversaries in trying to get information out there. The fact that, yes, we do spy on our allies is no secret, but the fact that the information got out there and what we spied on them is a big, big deal. Elon Musk's $1 million swing state voter lottery falls into a legal gray area, says experts. We've talked about this for a while. Elon Musk is doing a lottery, $1 million a day, in swing states, and it's causing concerns that experts say it falls in a gray area where it might actually be against election laws. It's aimed at boosting voter turnout, but financial incentives for voting could be the conflict that makes it happen. Now, you can't pay people to vote. You actually can't pay people to register, but you can suggest they register. But if you put it as a lottery where you're not paying someone, you give them a chance to win, that's where it gets iffy. Also, the fact that the only people that are eligible for these prizes are people in key swing states. And essentially, once early voting starts, Elon Musk started pulling away the lotteries. So people weren't registering to vote for those key states. The fact that the actual legalese, these fine print for these things, he is giving $1 million away a day. He was doing that for a while. The fact that there's some legalese and some fine print to this makes it more of a sales job than an incentive to just go out there and register to vote. We shall see how this one plays out literally in a few days or a few weeks as we look for the vote. And if this becomes an issue for anything on the backlash for Elon Musk or Donald Trump or anyone in political office. Let's return to North Carolina and North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, who is amending his damage claim against CNN from the $50 million lawsuit down to $25,000. So yeah, he's amended his defamation lawsuit, originally asking for $50 million, now only asking for 25,000. The adjustment made to comply with North Carolina's procedural rule that mandates specific declaration of the damages amount be pursuing punitive claims. Robson's lawsuit alleges defamation following accusations that he posted explicit content. He says he didn't. He also said he did, which is kind of a irony there. The case has garnered the attention of Republicans across the nation and people who are following Robinson, especially those who at the time thought he had a real shot to win. And as time was waning and these instigations, these words are coming out, are now backing away from him. Plus, people who like suing TV stations and CNN because people want to see CNN get their comeuppance. And Robinson may be the vessel to get this done, but maybe not. So essentially, you can't just ask for an outrageous amount of money because the law does not allow that. You have to ask for something that is reasonable. $25,000 is a reasonable suit. We should see if any of that money is seen by Robinson or paid off by CNN in the future. We'll get to more money damages issues for court stuff in a moment. But first, a quick pause in the news break. 4 stories down, 4 more to go for this Wednesday. I want to remind you that we need your assistance to growing the Conversation Project. We ask of you to help us out by simply liking, sharing, and subscribing to our work. Like what you're seeing so people see that what they see in their feeds is a good thing. People are engaging in it. It's worth checking out. Share it with people who think something like this would be worth engaging in and checking out, because if you share it directly with someone, they're more likely to check it out and give their approval, and maybe they'll subscribe as well. And as I said, someone shared this with you, it was popped up in your feed and you liked it, maybe you should consider subscribing to get more of it in your feed directly to you when we produce these. Things you might not have heard goes live about 5:50 every weekday morning. And of course, this follow up about 6 o'clock, 6:05 with things you might ought to know, the fun stuff that happens after this one. The 2 shows combined are 2 shows. So if you like what we're doing, we like you to like it. If you like what we're doing, share with folks who may also like it and you want to see more of it, please subscribe. Now, back to the news, back to people losing assets because of bad things. Back to Rudy Giuliani. He must give up control of his luxury items and his Manhattan apartment to the election workers in Georgia that he defamed. This coming from the judge. Now, they see it. Let's go into the robot editor and his actual write-up of the story. A federal judge has ordered Rudy Giuliani to turn over control of his Manhattan apartment, luxury watches, and sports memorabilia to 2 Georgia election workers, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, who successfully sued him for defamation. Giuliani has 1 week to comply with this ruling, which means that this is going to cover part of his damages owed, but for falsely accusing the workers in election fraud in 2020 U.S. election. He's liable for billions. So this ain't going to pay it off. But when you got some assets and you're hoarding off assets, do what you can to move them around, eventually the judge is like, okay, give it up. I know you live in this nice apartment, but you can downgrade because it's an asset and you owe these people something. He's got a week to comply. We'll see what happens. So he's a lot of it again, I'm pretty sure, but we'll see how this thing actually plays in a few days. Many things we'll see how they play out in a few days, apparently. Number 6, Always bet on black. Always bet on Snipes. Blade has been removed from the Disney release slate, replaced by Predator Badlands for 2025. Disney has officially removed its updated Blade movie from the 2025 release slate due to production delays. Lots and lots of delays. Disney is putting up Predator Badlands in its space for November the 7th because they have it there. It shall be ready, and they got to release something to make that money. This move reflects ongoing challenges with the Blade reboot, which has faced multiple delays. As for now, there's no new release date for Blade. No one's saying Blade's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen November 7th, 2025. Quick move to a story here before we do something light to wrap up. But this is a very heavy story that we've got to actually get into the mix of this one. Former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries has been arrested on charge with sex trafficking. Along with his partner with the business and another individual, he has his actual partner, I'm sorry, his dating partner and another individual. He has been charged in sex trafficking and other things that are not very nice to talk about. This seems to be a trend going on, and the charges involve allegations of trafficking for more than a dozen victims internationally for prostitution and exploitation. The authorities revealed the operation base lasted several years watching what was going on. Defendants are accusing of engaging in illegal activities across state lines and international lines. That's Jeffrey has faced multiple federal courts on trafficking, further deepening the scandal surrounding former CEO. Essentially, the stories are told. We've talked about the Diddy freak parties a lot lately. It's along the same lines. Young men between the ages of around 19 to 25, young men who are legal, are giving a chance to audition to show their stuff for the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, who maybe get a job as a model. So they come to these parties with Abercrombie stuff, and at the party, they're essentially forced to do not nice things as they're trying to gain favor with the people who are in charge, and you can see where it goes from there. This is one that we really don't want to cover. These are stories we really don't want to get into because they're happier things to talk about, but we are because it's big and it's there. Let's go on to our final story for this morning, and we're coming back to Comic Sans. Literally, we're coming back to Comic Sans as Comic Sans is getting the last laugh per story by The Atlantic. Now, after years of being widely ridiculed, many, many, many years, Comic Sans is experiencing a resurgence. Initially created in 1994 by Vincent Conquer for Microsoft Bob. You remember Microsoft Bob. It was inspired by comic books and designed to look informal and friendly. But despite facing backlash as one of the most disliked fonts, Comic Sans is gaining renewal appreciation for its legibility and unique charm. This shift in perception reflects changing attitudes towards the font, marking a turning point for its legacy. So once again, blame the millennials, blame the Gen Alphas, blame the kids for not knowing how to keep well enough and alone. Let's move on to our teaser story. For our teaser story, we take this time to explain how the feeds work, explain how we get our stories every single day. We do it with a story we are teasing that we can talk about possibly tomorrow if you deem it worthy. How does it get deemed worthy? You follow us on our feeds. Our feeds are links on Facebook, on Twitter, X, and on Threads, social media feeds. Threads.net slash at this conversation, x.com or twitter.com slash th conversation, facebook.com/this conversation project. You follow us on these feeds. Every 50 minutes or so, we post news articles from various sources. You see them as you're checking out other things, and you just engage in them and let us know what you think about the story, whether it's something that's really going to get you goat up or something you're really pleased about. Engage in the story, and the higher engagement score it gets in between the three places, better chance of talking about it the next iteration for Thursday, if you will. Here's a story that we have in the queue ready to come up. It's going to be about an hour or so after we finish up the live. So if you're watching this live, this won't take a while, but just like whatever story you like, so we know what stories are big. Headline for this one, and we have the Guardian's link to it, although we have the headline in the actual feed coming through. Trump files extraordinary complaint claiming election meddling by UK's Labour Party. Like we said, Trump's already claiming election meddling all down the line. He's basically saying that the United Kingdom and the Labour Party are saying they would really rather have Kamala Harris be the president. And so because of that, people with leanings towards the Labor Party might vote for Kamala Harris over Trump. Something. If you deem this story possible to be a top story, engage in the story. We'll take the top half stories for today. It'll be 15 of about 30 stories for the day, and choose from those the 8 stories we want to present for you in tomorrow's episode. So if you want this to be one of those 8 stories, make it big so it stands out, so it doesn't get swapped out by something else. As we said, we did not talk about Donald Trump and the actual words that he said. General Kelly coming out with a interview today because we just won't go in there today. We also didn't talk about the hit story we teased yesterday on Clemson and the athletic fee for $300 per student to pay for NIL. That one did not actually garner the attention that was necessary to make it viable. It just wasn't there. So we aren't talking that story today. Let's talk about our spotlight sponsor for the moment. And it is the most comfortable mouth tape in the world called hostage tape. And guess what? The picture on this thing is a guy, and he's running, and he's got his hostage tape on. And the picture they have on the materials you have on the book you have, it's a guy. He looks strong. He looks stern. What's going on? And I talk about hostage tape right there, and you get that sense of a big burly dude, and it's snoring. Ladies, we're not leaving you out. We're not just saying buy hostage tape. We're saying they have hostage tape made for women. Now, it's not a pink tax sort of thing. It's just made to fit, the face and the contours for a woman because they have different facial features. It's true. We ain't all the same. So if you're worried about, getting this for your snoring because it looks all nasty and burly, go to the website and check it out. They have hostage tape for ladies, hostage tape for men. They also has nose strips if the hostage tape thing is still a little too much for you to know. Why am I talking about something called hostage tape? Because we want you to sleep better. We want you to work out better. We want you to breathe better. Covering your mouth, keeping your mouth closed means better, improved breathing. Better for sleep, better for energy, boosting your metabolism, boosting your health. And it can get kind of nasty on those late nights when you're just going to because you can't get that air coming in. But a nice, restful sleep, deeper sleep, can come from these soft, hypogenic, and made for you, men or women, tapes you can put over your mouth to keep your mouth closed at night. So you can sleep better and live better with hostage tape. We ask you to do these things using our affiliate links so we get a small commission for your buy. This is a conversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is conversationproject.com/hostage tape. Tape for men, tape for women. Their tape is just for you. So check it out and use our link to help us keep on helping on. That's not of course. For hostage tape. Quick stop to chat ourselves up. The Conversation Project lives online at this is a conversationproject.com. This is our online home or website where you can find the things about the Conversation Project, updates on things coming in, back dates and back episodes of things that we've passed, and information on everything we have going on. Links to more of our sponsors, links to our partnership page to explain that to you, links to our page where we go through our backstory, our origin story, how the Conversation Project got to be, and what we do for you guys. Few things we ask you to do here. These are the calls to action. Consider becoming a partner. Go to the website and click on the partnership page and see there's a path to do that. Consider more of our sponsors. They're all affiliate sponsors, affiliate links. So if you want to click a link, go for it. And we get a small commission from whatever you buy from or whatever service you use. Click on the links for past episodes. If you've missed something before, click on links to find us in very different spaces that may be more amenable to where you're finding us now. And if all those things don't work out, the most important thing to do that are free to do, emphasis on free, is go to our feeds and follow us there and just engage in the stories as things pop up that are interesting. And of course, email us, conversationinbox@gmail.com. Those are things that you can do right now and help us with our days, help us with our work, help us get things done for the Conversation Project. With that, you can help us get out of here today as we wrap up for this Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and this has been Things You Might Not Have Heard for today. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to reset and hit the button and get on to our fun stuff, which is things you might want to know. I'll have birthdays, history lesson, and a fun thing to celebrate for today. The second show is now an actual second show, so stick around for that to come down in your feed live in a few minutes. Otherwise, it will be in your feed because the internet lives there forever whenever you want to check this out. This is created as a morning start, but it's not necessarily for the morning. Anytime you want to get into it, let us know. Engage in the stories. We do clips of these things and hot takes all day long with different news stories to engage as things are going. So let us know what you think about the stories right now. Right now, we're getting a lot of comments on a longer take we feel like gave on Sunday about Kamala Harris and the black voter problem. Black voters apparently wanting to pull for a Donald Trump because he's a strong man, and some of the issues on both sides of that debate. A lot of issues, a lot of comments, more conversation with people is what makes things happen. That's why it's called the Conversation Project, not the Jacob and Payne Talks Project. So let's have more conversations going forward. Love you guys. Mean it so much. Wrapping up for this Wednesday, Thursday edition coming tomorrow on Thursday.